What's up, y'all? Saturday night secret sermon. Hello, we're here. We're doing it. Nag Hammadi scripture time. So our Saturday night secret sermon segment is coming to being because I wanted to read the Gnostic Gospels and some pretty heady just religious texts, forbidden religious texts, if you will, and particularly the Gnostic Gospels. And the Nag Hammadi scriptures was packed with lots of good material. And so I decided to start there. And I had no idea when I would have time to pack this into my life. So I decided that it would be a great idea to just make it a segment that we share together. So what I've been doing is I will pick a portion and I will read it to you poorly out loud. And I'll read it a couple of times and then I will unpack the impressions that I am channeling, okay? I'm not a theologian, although I wish that I was. If I were gonna go back to school, I'd probably study theology and divinity and all of that. Yeah, I'm just interested. Also, I know the controversy, nobody even dare start that shit in the comments. Nobody cares. We're here for fun. All right. So having said that, welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before, we're raw. We're real people. Deal with it. We also study this after midnight on Saturday because it is the threshold between the end and the beginning, the end of one day and the beginning of the next. And I guess depending on where you stand, maybe the end of 1 week and the beginning of the next. Also because I usually work on Saturday nights and I get out late. But yeah, so midnight is universally in religion and mysticism, in practical magic and ritual magic and all the magical forms. It's historically been thought of to be the most powerful window of time in the day because the veil is so thin between the material realm and the non-material realm, between the intrinsic world and the extrinsic world. And so there's this particular open window that allows a quality of the light, the source light, to get through without a lot of barrier that doesn't exist at other times of the day. So sages would study at night so they would have more insight and more wisdom, and the words they were reading would be like seeds planted in fertile soil. You know, when you hear that metaphor over and over again in the Bible, that's talking about that. It's just about your ability to not only get insight into what's being presented, but also Jesus, I think, wanted the scriptures and his teachings to be a living word, meaning, I'm going to get rid of my thing is always Rachel's shift. I'm it was awesome. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. Yeah, I can't concentrate when there's a notification sitting in my face. Yeah, so we study at midnight. Oh, the living word. The living word is he was I don't want it to stop here and there never be any growth from there. It's I want you to start this and I want you to grow forests with it, right? I want you to take what I'm starting, but I want it to evolve. I want it to expand. There's more to say. I've only been here, a couple of years doing this. This is a whole system of reality that is always unfolding and always evolving and coming into being. And so these core principles are always true. It's just that there's more to it and there's more to expand upon and there's more to think and sift through and go deeper and chew on always. So I really have been loving the Gospel of Philip because it's these very abstract, cryptic portions that are just a few sentences, and it's almost like a mental yoga that's just meant to be pondered, pontificated, just marinated in, just let it sit. It's just work with it, right? Let the seed be planted and let it revisit you over the week. And that's why a lot of times, even though when we first read these things, I'm like, how much could we say about this? And by the end of it, we've been talking for 45 minutes, and then we have to do like a part 2 and part 3. So that's kind of what happened again this week. Last week, we did this portion called One Who Is. And I just kept thinking about it through the week, and I wanted to talk about it again and some more. One more thing about the midnight thing. It's also very beneficial when we push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. So like late at night, we're tired and we have to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone. But we do this to like make the sacrifice, to break the flesh in the spirit of Eucharist. When we make a sacrifice, it's like we're breaking open energy. And so that energy can be transformed and repurposed, right? And when we break our own flesh, when we break our own ego, right? That takes the place of that old way of like making actual sacrifices. And it's much more powerful. When you go outside of your comfort zone, when you push through discomfort or pain or not wanting to do something or your fear or what have you, you are creating so much more energy and light and force because you're having to overcome a difficulty in the spirit of sharing, in the spirit of spreading good, in the spirit of spreading the light. And so that has a greater impact than it even would, if it was easy for you. So many times when I'm like trying to do these episodes late, I remind myself, I'm like, it's the ones that I don't feel like doing that are going to make the difference. Or like when I'm sleepy and I want to go to bed before I do like my scanning, my Hebrew, or do my prayers, I'm like, no, these are the ones that are going to make the biggest difference. So just bear that in mind. Whenever you push yourself through, when it's hard, it's going to make a difference. It's going to make an impact, whether it's on you or your situation or someone else. So I don't know, take comfort, I guess. All right, so I'm still a little hoarse, but my voice is coming back, and the Metro water still hasn't fixed the situation completely. So when I came in, it smelled worse than ever. I have the doors open, but that's an improvement. So I went from having weeks and weeks of like the weird moisture issue in the air because of the air conditioner condensation, and y'all know how that was like on my last nerve, and now it's like shit wafting through the shit fumes. And I love, like, smells are important to me, and so I'm just like over it. But we're pulling through, just toughing it out, taking it a day at a time. Okay, now we're really starting. Not teasing anymore. One who is. And so when it says the master said, they're referring to Jesus. The master said, "Blessed is one who is before coming into being. For whoever is, was, and will be." I'm going to read it again. The master said, "Blessed is one who is before coming into being. For whoever is, was, and will be." The wind is blowing. It's rustling the leaves. Okay, so this has just been like coming back to me all week because we've been learning about what it is to have affinity with the light, right? We're building the vessel so that we can contain the light. And in order to contain the light and hold it without a short circuit, we have to have affinity with the light. We have to be in alignment, in vibration, the same vibration. And so we're learning what it is to have cause consciousness rather than effect consciousness. Cause consciousness has affinity with the light, right? Because the light is the cause of creation. It's like the chicken before the egg. It's like the light comes first. It is the cause and then the effect. So part of our inheritance as divine beings, as well as human beings, is that we have inherited the light and the power of God, of Source, of Heavenly Father. We are creator beings. We have dominion and sovereignty. We just don't know how to claim it and use it fully with our with self-control. That, remember that fruit of the spirit, self-mastery, self-control, and with full consciousness and with authority. And so what we have to do is learn to be the cause instead of the effect, meaning that we become more eternal. And I've begun to understand that eternal is not so much about when and a timeline and linear, like always was and always will be, which it's funny that for whoever is, was, and will be, this is the eternal person, right? Eternal as in perpetual, sustaining, unchanging, not fluctuating, but steady. Steadier than the sun, no fluctuation. Always overflowing, always outpouring, always sharing, right? Doesn't close off, isn't conditional, just perpetual in eternal flow. So that's what we're trying to become. Being affect consciousness is I am affected by my surroundings. When things are uncomfortable, when the shit smells in the air, I'm irritated. I'm affect consciousness right now. When I am stressed, I try to take an action as fast as I can to fix the situation. That is affect consciousness. When I feel fear, lack, or doubt, I immediately reflexively try to respond and control. It's affect consciousness. When there are irritating circumstances around me, I am irritable and impatient. That is affect consciousness. Being cause consciousness is being able to show up in a moment that is pressing your buttons, is very irritating, is testing your patience, and being the cause in that moment. It would look like this. I'm the creator of my reality. Why am I in any hurry? This is all playing out just the way it needs to. God's in control. For all I know, this is actually working out for my favor. Like, maybe this is in my highest good for this delay. Maybe this is gonna like award me a bonus, or some fun surprise is gonna be attached to it, right? Maybe because I had to wait so long, they're gonna be like, oh, come over here. And by the way, we decided to give you this, that kind of thing, right? So you never know, but it's the certainty that is the magical key that unlocks that divine favor in the moment, because it's that level of faith called emunah, which is faith beyond like rational, logical reason. It's like, yes, I know that things look hairy right now, but I know for certain that things will work out. And I don't have any way to prove that, or any like logical way to say like, oh yes, because of A, B, and C, it's all going to work out. It's being able to believe so certainly before you see, because you're so confident that you have that mustard seed level of just enough, but it's packs such a power that like reality can't help but fall into vibration with you, because you are stronger than the circumstances in that moment. So being the cause consciousness means that you are not triggered by every little thing and reactive and trying to take immediate action or whatever to anesthetize the discomfort, or to numb the pain, or to avoid, or to fix it. You're willing to give something space, and you're willing to allow and surrender. It's not that you don't take action, but you take guided action from a place of intuitive guidance, from wisdom, from emotional sobriety. Like, you're not like wound up and worked up. You're not making the decision from an emotional place, and you're able to choose consciously with free will, instead of being like manipulated by like the circumstances because you just want to like fix everything, or even in a positive way, like you're so excited about something that you just want to jump on it without thinking. Affect consciousness, right? Don't sign the contract before you negotiate. Get more, right? So I feel like that ties in to one who is, because this whole portion reminds me of the book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I know some people pronounce it Eckhart Tolle, and I have seen him sitting next to Oprah, and she's like announcing him as Eckhart Tolle, and many people also. And so I'm just like, I don't know. I'm going with Tolle. I think I've even heard him say Tolle. And like I feel like there's like a 1/3 of the world that's just like continuing to say Eckhart Tolle, and it drives me insane. But it's like, okay, I don't even care if it is his name. We are all saying Tolle now. Get him on board. So anyway, the book, The Power of Now, illustrates that like the past is gone and it doesn't exist anymore, and it can no longer, like, only the effects of it that are like dissipating now are still, like, can still touch you, but it's like the past isn't happening now. The past is in the past. The future doesn't exist yet. The only thing that we have power in is now, in this moment. This is the only part of reality that's actually happening, is now. And so that's the only thing, that's the only place like that we can be, like that we're manifest in the physical. It's like now is really the only thing that's happening. So when we say like, oh, I want to be that someday, it's like you're projecting this thing outside of you into this place and time that doesn't exist, right? You're choosing to cling to an illusion and fantasy. Or, you know, if you're obsessing over the past, same thing. You're like dancing with a dead body. Put it down. What you want to do is be. You are. You're the essence of beingness. Just like the Creator is the essence of beingness. He doesn't have to become. He doesn't, have to unbecome. He doesn't have to quit doing anything or try. It's just the Creator is. The light is. It's in perpetual isness and beingness. And it's constant and consistent. So the Master said, blessed is one who is before coming into being. For whoever is, was, and will be. See, this describes the person that understands the fullness and understands the wholeness of the light, and understands that that is essentially what we are made of and what animates our very life force. It's what gives us each breath. It's what keeps our heart pumping. It's the heat that ignites our each individual little atomic cell within us that gives it animation. And so knowing that the whole of all that is in every single part of us. It's pure light, right? Matter is nothing but atoms that are pure light. Essentially, there's not really any real substance to us. So yeah, the whole all is included in us. In our spirit, in our soul, we have all of the qualities of the Godhead within us. It's built into our mechanics. It's built into the universe. The whole universe is a macrocosm, and we are a microcosm of that beautiful machinery of reality. And so when we understand that, it's like, oh, it seems almost delusional and irresponsible to just be like, oh yeah, I just have the power within me to be well. And you do. I've pulled it off a few times in my life where I'm like, I know. My mom actually had a miraculous, huge cyst dissolve once from her wrist, because it was just all the planets are aligned just right for her to have that perfect combination of certainty and trust and release, and it happened, right? So blessed is one who is before coming into being, knowing you are whole, you are complete, you are healed. You don't need to be healed. You don't need to become anything. You already are. That person who knows that, who understands it and is beginning to embody it, is learning how to be eternal, cause consciousness. So they are, they will, and they always were, because they understand that they are, they will be, and they always were, because we're light. And when this like little flesh suit falls away, the light within us, the consciousness, the soul, the spirit, it's still intact. It still remains. It's just, we just rise up out of this like sleeve, and, you know, we become reabsorbed, or we go, you know, into a different dimension, and then we figure it out from there if we're going to be reincarnated or, you know, reassigned or whatever. So, the one who is before coming into being, so this is the person who understands the wholeness of their being and their nature, even if only for moments at a time, right? But when you are in that moment, you're in the present, you're in the now, which is all that exists. So in that moment, it's like you're in your divinity, and you're like, I understand. It's all so clear, Eureka. I am the most powerful being in the world. And then the next moment, you're irritated with somebody. But it's comforting to know that at any moment we could just shift using the power of now. It's like, well, if I had just made a mistake a minute ago and short-circuited, it's okay. Just bounce back. Just rebound. And the faster you can rebound without a bunch of emotional drama attached to it, like, oh, I fucked up, I feel so bad, oh, I'm so annoyed with myself, why can't I ever just get it right? Like, that's the devil tricking you twice, right? So move all that bullshit out into the soap opera. Just be like, okay, make amends, correct, like, apologize, like, fix, you know, don't reflexively, reactively fix, but, like, you know what I mean, like, do what you can to alleviate the damage, right? Do what you can to make it right as a responsible adult, but don't beat yourself up. Don't keep going around. Just make the correction, teshuva, get back on path, and let it go and move on, because we are here in the now. We are perfect in the now. We are whole right here, right now. We are. I am. I am that I am. I am that which I am becoming. We are always becoming. We are always in a state of becoming. And it's all happening in the now. So it's like when someone says, like, Jesus would always say, like, I need you to heal me, Jesus. Or, you know, like, I want to walk again. And he's like, well, rise up, walk, you know, all right, you are well. Like, get up, be well then. And everybody's like, but I don't know how. What do you mean, Jesus? It's like, by your faith, you are healed. And it just seems so simple. And it's like, okay. And that, but like the people who just like took him at that and like were like, yeah, okay, they were able to do it. It's like, was it Peter that walked on water with Jesus for a minute until he got like scared and sunk? So it's like, you know, he was in that moment in affinity with the light. He believed like fully and wholly that he had all of those capabilities too, because he did. He was just able to like embody them in that moment. So like, say for instance, when people are like, oh, you know, I'm trying to get in shape, trying to be healthy. It's like, well, stop trying all the time, because like, when is that time going to happen? Next week when you feel like it? Like tomorrow maybe? Do it now. The next time it's mealtime, like choose differently. Start cooking like different foods, like work out instead of not working out, like make the change. Stop saying it's going to happen, or, oh, I hope that I can, you know, maybe I can try. It's like, stop trying and just do it. Like, if you have a habit that you want to break, like I used to smoke cigarettes, and I wasn't like a smoker like all the time. It was just like, if I was drinking, like I would smoke a cigarette or whatever. But then like, you know, it gets to where you're smoking more than just like one cigarette, you know, especially if you're, you know, in party phases of your life. And I was, you know, more so at the time, I guess. And I remembered thinking like, ooh, I'm like really ready to quit smoking, and I just don't want to do it anymore. And every time I would decide like I don't want to smoke anymore, and I haven't smoked a cigarette. I think I took a drag off of one like a few weeks ago, and it was gross. Like, but I haven't bought a pack in like a couple of years. But when I decided, I was just like, ooh, like I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. I just decided within myself, like, I'm just not going to do that. And I decided, ooh, I don't even like the taste of it. I'm repulsed by the taste of it. And I was that person that really liked like a good like morning cigarette with coffee on the back porch, you know, a little weed. Like that was a really good like morning. And it got to the point where like very quickly, almost immediately, it was like, ew, this is gross. Like, I just noticed all the bad ways that I would feel like when I would try to smoke, and I was just like, I'm not a smoker anymore. Right? Make up your mind with like, get mind, body, soul, spirit in alignment and follow through, embody. That's what we're doing now. That's what we're being tested during the eclipse season is, you know, now that we have gone through all of these transformations this year and our life is transformed and we've been up leveling and growing and really trying to like get rid of the old chapter, like big fresh start, new beginning, higher self, we are now being presented with challenging things that are very familiar that will test us into falling back into our old habits. And so the challenge or the opportunity here is to be the you that you want to be. Be the you that that can create the life that you are wanting to live in, right? Be in it now. Being now is okay. Maybe you can't do all of the things that you would like to do, these big dreams, but do smaller versions of them, right? If you want to like treat yourself to some luxury, maybe you don't have like the money to go out and like remodel the home or whatever, but you maybe could get a couple of scented candles and a throw pillow. You know what I mean? Like little things that help you embody the abundance now. Embody the healthy lifestyle now. Give yourself little incremental steps that you can do that help you embody the changes that you want to make in a way that helps you realistically, believably understand that they are true, that you don't have resistance against, right? So when it comes to like healing the body, like follow like the medical advice that you've been given, you know, make dietary changes that you need to make, but just start practicing with yourself, telling yourself every day out loud, using the power of your words. Start speaking blessing, start speaking life over your health, your body, your household, your bank account, your income, your job. Believe it. Okay, so you guys remember how at the beginning of the summer we were hot and heavy about praying out loud? And I have to get honest with you lately, like I've been lax about praying out loud. I've been like kind of doing it in my head. Like I'll always be doing it in my head, but I haven't been saying it out loud. So today I was getting ready to go to work. And I was reminded, I was like, I need to say my prayers. And so I started praying for my shift. And I was like praying that like, thank you, that like I've got the best section. I was like, I don't want to be anywhere weird in the restaurant tonight. I just want something really straightforward in the 40s and 50s, close to the kitchen, close to like the server station with all the silverware and everything. And just like nothing crazy. I was like, I don't even want a lounge section because I don't want the gamble of the big tables. Remember the stories recently, like stiffing me because we don't autograt. So I was like, just give me like a regular section where I can just like sweat it out and like, you know, have a good night. And I got to work. Oh, and I also wanted good section buddies and a good side work. And I had great section buddies. Everybody contributed to the side station today, even though they rarely do. It was amazing. I walked in and I saw the floor chart. And I had exactly the tables that I wanted and exactly the side work. And Jeff, my manager, I was like, Jeff, he was like, do you like where I put you tonight? I was like, you literally got my message. I was like praying and sending you the signal. And he goes, I had you somewhere else. I had you in the lounge where the other Liz is. And so I switched you guys. And I was like, I would literally said it out loud as I was getting ready, and he goes, that's probably about the time, because it was like in the afternoon just before, you know, we were all like just supposed to show up and start opening. Isn't that crazy? But that's how it is. It's like, just be a magical person, be the divine like son and daughter, the child of God that you are, and claim these this dominion, this sovereignty over your world. You can be a co-creator of your world, and you can get creative and you can be bold. I mean, I'm out here, like, some people might call me delusional, but other people that work with me, at first they thought I was the crazy weird one, but I've made believers of all of them. Because this stuff happens. It really does. So declare out loud. Use your prayers, but speak blessing over your life, over every part of it, over your family, over your friends, over everything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to mention about one who is. I think that's all. I think I remembered everything. All right, so one last time for the cheap seats in the back. One who is. The Master said, "Blessed is one who is before coming into being. For whoever is, was, and will be." All right, Yens. If you like the Secret Teachings, then go to my channel. I have a Secret Teachings of Jesus playlist. I think they're in order from what we've been covering. I think earlier in the year, we started with the book of James, or the Gospel of James, which was Jesus's brother. It was a really good one. And that one, those are actually a great series, because Jesus is more like present in the Gospel of James, and he is always irritated with the disciples, and Jesus gets kind of spicy and a little bit short with them sometimes. So those are hilarious. But yeah, recently we've been doing the Gospel of Philip, and we're just going bit by bit, baby. Taking it one bite at a time. All right, y'all. It's raining now, and I've got my windows open and my doors, and hopefully the sewage will just continue to dissipate. So gross. I can't wait. Y'all have no idea how, like, excited I was for fall, and, like, opening my windows and having fresh fall air. And it has been like the apocalypse, like, on my street, with, like, the fumes of hell just, like, pouring in at all times. Better luck next time. The leaves have been really pretty. The weather's been really nice. I just go into the woods to get fresh air, and then I come home and it's like a porta potty. All right, y'all. You be good. I'll see you. I'll try to do our video earlier tomorrow. I'm having a fun family night with my sister and her wife, and my nephew and his wife, and maybe my bro and his wife, whoever is available, to just hang out at Jenny and Mindy's and have chili, and hopefully have a fire. And we're gonna make, like, really gourmet s'mores that I have come up with a really good recipe for. And we're gonna watch Hocus Pocus 1 and 2, and it's gonna be fun. All right, y'all. Yeah, stay groovy.